Hi, my name's Rio Kai. I am the bass player for the band Stratos, and we host the Jazz Jam here at Grow every Thursday. And for Black History Month, we have a series of special events occurring, and we will have a special guest, Byron Wallen, on trumpet for one of our events. On the 10th of October, we'll be hosting our regular Jazz Thursday session with Stratos, but we'll also have the special guest Byron Wallen joining us on trumpet, which is super exciting. As someone who likes the idea of exploring the heritage of this music, having someone with such pedagogy and also their own personal experience and journey with exploring the music it's a sight to relish, really. So really looking forward to having that collaboration on the 10th. Byron Wallen is a jazz trumpet player. He has a lot of prominence across the UK and beyond. He has explored many themes around idiom of jazz music. He has explored themes such as the ancestry and heritage of the music, and also just elements of sort of cultural progressions and journeys across the diaspora relating to jazz music. So my first experience with Byron was actually with one of my friend's projects that he was supervising, which was exploring jazz music and where the line between homage and appropriation can be found. It was a very eye-opening project, but also Byron's input to that particular project was really inspiring. I'm really looking forward to having him involved in the events that we've got happening here in October. So, reclaiming the narrative, to me, that could mean quite a wide array of things. Part of that is sort of the understanding that the system that we live in is built on top of a particular structure of colonialism, and basically there are certain narratives that fit comfortably within the space of modern society and ones that have a bit less of a prominent viewpoint. And it's kind of important to be able to address and explore all sides of those narratives, because they do all have a place in society. One of the definitions of reclaiming the narrative, from my own personal experience, is kind of this idea that within society there are certain viewpoints that are kind of not really given the same platform or addressed in the same sort of way. So kind of based on my own personal experiences, there's certain dialogues that are just kind of a bit more difficult to have in certain spaces. So reclaiming the narrative is kind of part of being able to have those conversations in those spaces, and also sort of acknowledging and having that validity to all of these different viewpoints and experiences. So for me, reclaiming the narrative in relation to my own creativity, specifically talking within the context of jazz, it kind of comes in two streams. There's one side of things looking at the sort of broader definition of what people consider jazz to be. There is a sort of arbitrary, textbook definition to what that music is. And I think there's elements of that definition that then apply to that music in a wider context, in terms of taking the tradition and the lineage of jazz music and fusing it with elements and influences that are relevant to us today. Because if you go back to any great era within the history of jazz, like looking at the 40s, for example, where there was the whole Latin jazz movement, what was happening there was people were taking this language that they had sort of developed and fusing it with what was relevant at the time, which was that sort of influx of Latin America. So by that definition, you could also apply that today to music where people are taking elements of, grime, hip hop, or neo soul, and kind of fusing these things within that lineage and tradition of jazz. So that's kind of one element of what I kind of think about when I'm talking about reclaiming the narrative. In terms of how what we do here at Grow on Thursdays is part of exploring sort of voices and letting people be heard within the idiom of music. Well, the biggest thing is that the space on a Thursday is a very inclusive space. We try to give everyone an opportunity to perform It's not really an event that we try to gatekeep in any way, shape or form. So it's all about kind of having a dialogue on stage between people who come up to play with us and also the audience who are a big part of that conversation as well. So yeah, it's mainly just about representation. You know, we get a lot of different instrumentation of musicians who come and perform on a Thursday. You know, we kind of don't really have any limitations around who is able to perform. It's just people who have an understanding of this music or want to explore this music.